Welcome to today's call, webinar, everybody. Glad to have you on the webinar. It's June 18th, and the topic that I'm going to be covering today, before I open up the mics, is a business topic, and I want to talk about the key differences between sales and closers. Now, we've all heard about salespeople. We've heard about closers. We know generally what the term means. We tend to think of salespeople, and sometimes if you're in sales, when you think of sales, sometimes that's product pitches, that's a service that you might be selling. Those people in sales, or people that are used to being called on by sales, generally have a fairly good regard for salespeople. Non-salespeople, or people who are not used to professional sales, they have a less good opinion of sales. To them, sales feels more like used cars, or, when you ask somebody, do you ever see yourself being a salesperson? They're like, oh no, I wouldn't want to do that. I don't like sales. Or they think perhaps of multi-level marketing. They think of different schemes of what it means to sales. But the reality is, even if you're not in professional sales, you're going to have some value listening to this webinar today, because we all sell. We're constantly selling, the staff people in our organizations. We're selling them on our ideas and what we want to do. We sell our families on what we want them to do and what's best for them. We sell our friends. We constantly sell. And in this world of selling, we all have this opinion that, closers, what's a closer? Someone who closes. I mean, it sounds big and daring and courageous and kind of badass, like, a closer, man. Those got to be the top of the pyramid, the top percentage of salespeople, and generally that's true. And as I go through this seminar today, and we talk about the differences between sales and closers, there's some exceptions to what I'm going to say, and occasionally I'll note them. There's certainly some nuances to this, but in a 10 or 15 minute pitch, I want to give you something to really startle you and get your thinking. So let's cover what are the key differences between sales and salesmen and saleswomen, salespeople, and people who close. Now, the first thing I'm going to tell you is, number one, and it almost falls into this sentence category. A salesperson's primary driver, their primary question, the primary line of code that they use in their neural software, is really driven by, will you like me? Because they believe if they can get you to like them, then when they have achieved that level, then they'll ask for the business. And so in the old Saturday Night Live sketch for the subliminal advertising, when the guy would joke about, he'd say, I was talking to my boss the other day, 3 weeks vacation, and was telling him of my idea, company car, and was working on this topic, promotion. In the subliminal advertising joke on that Saturday Night Live skit was constantly putting in that running thought pattern. Well, this running thought pattern, will you like me, when you're approaching someone for sales, when you want their business. Let me tell you a little about me. Will you like me? Let me ask you a little bit about you. Will you like me? Let's talk a little bit about my product. Will you like me? And that running question, and they're going to be driven by this. They want to see evidence that you're liking them. They're going to ask questions. They're going to do things they've been taught. Let's establish rapport. Let's get to know our clients. Let's ask the right questions. But the primary driver for it is going to be, will you like me? Now, closers, on the other hand, have a much more directed, and it's not even a question, it is a statement. You are going to buy from me. Why? Well, that's obvious because I'm the best there is. I'm the best, my company's the best, my product pitch is the best. Everything about me is going to serve you better than anything else that you can do. You're going to buy me. Now, they will still use rapport tools, and there is a very rarefied environment where there are people who are very good at selling and very good at closing. Generally, however, to be a closer, your primary driver is going to be, oh, I'm going to get this. You're going to buy from me today. As opposed to, well, once I've established this credibility, once I've established this relationship and rapport with you, and I think that you're liking me, then I feel good about saying, well, will you buy from me now? Because obviously we have a relationship. So let's continue to develop that and talk a little bit about what that means. Sales, if you're driven by will you like me and driven by a desire to receive, excuse me here, let me move that back, a desire to establish that rapport first and before you ask for business, generally that's going to match a fear pattern, a scarcity pattern. It's going to be about pain avoidance. Because think about it, if you're driven by you're going to buy from me, you're not afraid, or if you're afraid, you're going to go right through it. You're not driven by scarcity. Oh, there's only so much of your business, and you're going to be giving it to people that you like. Not, oh, please, oh, this is just a scarce situation for me. Or avoiding pain, it's going to be, if I don't win this business, my monthly mortgage is at risk. My job is at risk. I'm going to get put on a remedial plan. I've got to stay above a bottom line so that I don't get put on a plan. And so it's all about pain avoidance. And in our other neural pattern work, in the 10% of the planet that lives at the top and 90% of the planet that competes for the rest, this is matching the 90% pattern. Closers are in the 10% pattern. They're driven by results. They're driven by outcomes. They're driven by clarity of purpose. And again, I want you to, when you think about this, position this against, will you like me? When you want results, it's going to be, you're going to buy from me. When you're pushing outcomes, this is going to be absolutely the best thing to do for your business. When you're driven by clarity of purpose, it's going to be about, I absolutely know what I'm doing. This is the best thing for your company, blah, blah, blah. So let's keep developing it. The credibility of the positioning. For the salesperson, credibility is driven really primarily from the company or from the product. And in the 10-90 rule, the 90%, that stands for outside in. It's primarily driven by a set of validated standards or a set of credible standards that's produced from the company or from the product or from the external world that says, oh, I really am likable, please like me. When you're inside out, your credibility is all driven from an internal position. You're still going to believe in the company. You're still going to believe in a product. And you're still going to believe that your company product is the best. But in this world, you can see that for a closer, that, these people say, oh, the price, I got to have the lowest price. I'm competing on price. Closers very rarely compete on price. Their credibility is internal driven. And so jumping down here, a closer says my value proposition it's about the product set. However, it's about I will make you better. I'm on the scene now. I can diagnose your company. I can look at what you're doing. I can tell you unequivocally that I will make this work better than anybody else. But when you're in this inside out position, it's easy to have that internalized standard. When you're in an outside in position, where your credibility and validation is all driven from the external position, an external psychological point, then the value proposition is about pricing. It's about product features. It's about functionality. And there's a key shift here. You'll notice that this is about we will make you better. We, me and the company, me and the pricing, me and the product set, me and the company. We can make you better. Whereas a closer, it's all about I'm going to make you better. I'm going to bring this great solution. Another key difference is that sales will take no for an answer for the sake of maintaining the relationship. But the reality is that closers will never take a no, because if you stick with a no, there's something wrong with you. That, you may think that you know what you're doing, but my golly jeepers, if I can't communicate, and they sometimes won't even own that the communication challenge might be theirs. That's why closers a lot of time come off a little bit more arrogantly. And in their arrogance is where a lot of salespeople struggle, because arrogance doesn't help someone like you. And you've heard in other settings, it's arrogance, in one sense, but if you back it up, we call that confidence. And so to have that Tim Tebow quiet confidence, even when you know that you don't have the best product and the best, but you're just confident, you're just so confident that you can say, I am here, I am going to make this better. That is where some of the key differences that exist between closers and salespeople take place in the psychological arena. They'll do 70, 80% of the same thing. So, for instance, if we're looking at the Venn diagram that says, this is closers and this is salespeople, they're going to do a lot of the same things in here. But these guys are going to be focused on the relationship. Will you like me? Will you let's have a relationship together. Let's pull this all together. And when I'm comfortable and you're comfortable with me, then I can ask you for the business. Closers are like, no, this is what they do special. You are going to buy from me, and you're going to buy today because it's best for your business. It's the best solution. I am the man, I am the woman for the job. My company is the right company. We're the best. So that is a little bit of content on the difference between closers and sales. Let me take a moment and open some mics and see what kind of questions we have. Darlene.
Hi.
How are you?
It was interesting. I think that it doesn't really just necessarily apply to business. It could also apply to relationships. Maybe if you have someone who's, say, not that sure of themselves, they're just into selling, but they are not, they're the we psychology versus I can get this job done and, I'm the best person for this relationship, for whatever it could be, but I just noticed that it would not just apply to a business situation. And the we in the sales seems to weaken that whole system.
Yeah, and I'm so glad you picked up on that difference, because that was something that I wanted to bring up with you on the Q&A. When you're a salesperson and we're talking about relationships, it's more about, let me make this perfect for you, let me take care of you, let me make sure that you're enjoying the date, that you're enjoying the restaurant we picked, that this opening gambit, this opening position statement for a salesperson, for a man or woman who are selling themselves in a relationship first, it's always about pleasing the others. When you're a closer, it's like, hey, I'm an incredible person to date. I've got great talents. I've got a big heart. I've got a lot of integrity. I mean, you'd be nuts, if you didn't want to date me. So let's go enjoy this date, but it's going to be mutual. I'm going to make sure that I enjoy myself. So they're generally a little bit more confident on a first date or a first series of dates to articulate what they like and what they don't like, and they don't do this outside in approach that says, well, I need you to validate or tell me that I'm okay. It's you've hit the exact nail on the head for this.
Yeah, it's a very interesting analogy.
Yeah, this might be something that you want to enter into your journal and do some thinking about in terms of, I haven't caught up with you in a while. I'm not sure if you're still on the market or some amazing man has regained his senses or gained senses and said, I've got to have this amazing woman. But hopefully you're carrying yourself around as an amazing woman and knowing with great confidence that who you are, the package that you are, the package of brains and heart and looks and integrity and value is so compelling that you're picking and choosing who you want to date and who you want to go on.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, without going into details, I'm in a very great place that really almost right now doesn't have anything to do with who I'm dating, if anybody. I'm just doing other things that really make me happy. So.
Awesome. Okay, that ends today's ACS webinar. I hope you enjoyed it. Certainly had a positive time listening and talking with everybody here today. Take care. Have an awesome Monday, and we'll catch you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Take care, everybody.